Hello from Boston Children's Museum. We're closed today and will be for some time, but we will be sharing lots of fun things with you online, story times, and activities and other fun things to do when you're stuck inside. And since today is St. Patrick's Day, I thought it would be fun to read this book, which is Miss Bridie Chose a Shovel by Leslie Connor. This is a story that's about immigration and migration. That means it's about somebody who lives in one place and then moves to another place and about the things that they take with them. So, Miss Bridie Chose a Shovel by Leslie Connor and illustrated by Mary Azarian. She could have picked a chiming clock or a porcelain figurine, but Miss Bridie chose a shovel back in 1856. Miss Bridie chose the shovel from the peg in the barn, and she took it to the dock where she stepped aboard the ship. She leaned on the shovel as she rocked in the cabin while she lived on the ship on her way across the sea. Oh. And here we go. This is Miss Bridie, and you can see these are the things she's bringing with her. And one of the things is her shovel. She's bringing her shovel on the ship to sail across the sea. Miss Bridie flung the shovel with her pack on her shoulder when she stepped off the ship in the harbor in New York. She brought along the shovel when she rented the room above the little shop where she also got a job. Short commute. That's always good. So here she is. She's got her shovel over her shoulder to help her carry her bag. She's getting off the ship, and then here she is. She's got a job, got hats made to order. Oh, and right above, a room for rent. That's where she's going to live. Miss Bridie took her shovel when she got up early, and she dug a little garden out back behind the shop. She put her plants in crates when the spring rains came, and she sold them to the ladies for their gardens in New York. So there is Miss Bridie using her shovel to plant the garden. Oop, the cat's watching, and here she is selling what grows in the garden. Miss Bridie brought her shovel to the city park in winter. She cleared a narrow path through the silent falling snow. She took her shovel down to the frozen moonlit river, where she scraped away the snow and went skating up and down. Oh, there Miss Bridie is skating, and you can see the path she cleared with the shovel. Oh, and it looks like she's going to be joined by somebody. Miss Bridie packed her shovel when she moved to the house when she married the young man she'd met skating on the river. She dug all the holes for the posts with her shovel when they put up the pen for the new goats and sheep. So there she is. She's with her new husband. Oh, and they've got this beautiful farm. And there she is using the shovel to dig the holes for the posts. And there we got a goat. And there, some sheep. Miss Bridie planted seeds, which in time became an orchard, and a field full of corn on the farm on the hill. She swung the shovel high when she cut into the hill to build the root cellar for the apples from their farm. There she is, digging the root cellar. Oh, and there's her husband picking the apples that they're going to put in the root cellar. Miss Bridie grabbed her shovel when the rains swelled the creek, and she scooped away the mud from the old kitchen step. She carved a bigger pond, and she banked it with her shovel so the creek wouldn't come up to the kitchen anymore. Miss Bridie sent the shovel to pry the doctor's buggy from the mud by the pond when her babies were born. So there's the pond, and you can see how she made it bigger here and banked the sides. Oh, and there is the carriage that's stuck in the mud, and you can see the man using the shovel to get the carriage free. She shoveled lumps of coal into the black iron stove that warmed the little children and browned the loaves of bread. Let's see, there's that big black iron stove. Kids are waiting. Oh, they've got their doll. Looks like the dog is pretty excited for some bread too. Oh, and there's the bread coming out of the oven. Miss Bridie hilled the soil in the dry heat of summer, and she worried for the crops as the creek ran dry. She listened to the promise of the distant rolling thunder, and she waited for the cloudburst to reach their thirsty field. Miss Bridie saw the lightning strike. Oh, there she is. She's looking into the distance, and here she is. She sees the lightning strike that set their barn on fire, and she raced to free the livestock as the timbers burned away. So there you can see the burning barn. There's Miss Bridie, and she's chasing away the animals. So there's a cow, a horse. I see the sheep and the goats she mentioned earlier, chasing them away so they'd be safe from the fire. Miss Bridie watched the rain as it swept away their fields, and she wondered if the farm could ever thrive again. She searched through the ash when the rains quelled the fire, and she found her shovel blade with the handle burnt away. Miss Bridie chose a limb from a tree in the orchard, and she worked an apple handle for the old shovel blade. So there's Miss Bridie and her husband. You can see how sad they are that their barn burnt down, and so did their shovel, and all that is left is that metal blade. But Miss Bridie's going to fix it by making a new handle out of wood from an apple tree. Once more, she turned the soil, and she started raising flowers on the farm with the children who grew tall by her side. She sold her fruit and flowers at the stand by the road, where the people and the summers just kept passing by. Summer after summer, there she is, just selling the flowers. Look at all those beautiful flowers, and you can see the farm stand back there where they're selling more flowers and apples. Support your local farmers. Miss Bridie sadly trudged up the hill with her shovel when her husband, whom she loved, got sick and passed away. She planted him a tree and some flowers underneath that come up like memory with the warmth of every spring. So you can see how sad she is. I think this must be her son, who's grown up now. And she's got her shovel that she brought with her to dig a hole to plant the tree. Oh, and look how beautiful the tree has grown. You can see it has flowers as she's sitting there with her corgi. Miss Bridie cleared the snow from the frozen pond in winter, and she led her children's children as they skated round and round. At night, she hung her shovel on the peg in the barn, and she stood looking out at the quiet, frosted farm. So there she is with her grandkids. So now she's a grandma, and she's showing them how to ice skate, just like she used to ice skate, which is how she met her husband. She could have had a chiming clock or a porcelain figurine, but Miss Bridie chose a shovel back in 18 56. And that is the end of the story. So I hope you enjoyed this story. What things would you bring with you if you went on a journey, if you traveled someplace new, like Miss Bridie? And what things do you think you would leave behind? Leave us a comment about what you would bring if you went on a journey. And thank you for listening. Happy St. Patrick's Day!